Hello, sunshines. How art thou? This is Creative Stitching Diva, and I am here to give you another Graphghan gem, some jewels, some good stuff. I'm here to help you with your Graphghan journey, and today we're gonna go over some pricing. I get so many people saying, "How do you do your prices? How are you able to say how much are you charging?" I'm gonna go over a little bit of what I do. It's not a whole lot, and be careful because everyone is different. There's gonna people are gonna say you can't ask anyone, you can't do this, you can't do that. You can do whatever your heart desires. If you feel uncomfortable, if you don't know like the ballpark, what I suggest is for you to research, go out there, look to see what's on um, all different types of platforms to see what is selling. Even look at your like Walmart and look at every avenue and just do your research. And that's basically how I came up with my plan on how to do my pricing. But not only that, like throughout the years it changed because I've changed, I've evolved, and in a I'm at a place right now where I'm like yeah, a little bit up there. So I kind of tend to charge a little bit more, not as much as I want as of yet, but it's getting there. It's getting there. So I'm going to show you my little plan, how I do it, how I calculate adding my time, my materials, and everything else. So yeah. Alright, so now we're gonna go back into talk about these prices, y'all. Let's talk about these prices. So I have like this plan where I just do my basic, right? Which is I'm gonna just start with blankets because blankets is more technical and complicated, especially when you're dealing with different colors and images and everything, right? So we're gonna talk about these blankets, child. The blankets are a lot. It takes a good amount of time. It takes a good amount of energy. And I'm going to let you know right now that it, it, I don't think there's no amount of money that anybody could pay that is really worth our time and energy with our hands. But we need to be a little bit practical as well, right? We need to be logical and practical. We can't use our heart in a business. I'm sorry, we just can't use that heart in a business, all right? So you can't care about people's feelings. And it may sound harsh, and me as an empath, it hurt me a lot to even say that. But you can't have a heart when you have a business. You have to be more logical. What I am going to start off with is the plain blanket. So some people just want plain blankets. They just want one color, nothing else. And if that's the case, in order to get me to put my hands on a hook and yarn for you, it will at least be $150. Now, the $150 is like a baby blanket, okay? And then we're going to move on up, like maybe $50 on up, depending on the size. Now, if you want to add different colors, I'm going to add in an extra $25. So we're going to do like, I do like a la carte thing. We're going to name what you want, and then we're going to keep adding and adding and adding and adding, and then eventually it's going to get to a price where they're going to be like, but this is what you want because this is what your dreams come true look like, right? So yeah, so I have like kind of sort of a gift to gab when it comes to my customers to get them to want something, like something that they're basically we are dream we're like genies, like crochet genies, right? We're trying to make your wish come true, right? We're trying to make sure that you get every single thing that you want plus more. So that's why I always be creative and I try to add more than what that customer may be asking for. And a lot of times I do research. That's my secret, y'all. I do research on my customer so that I know exactly what the customer likes. I know what the customer wants. I will add a little bit of this and add a little bit of that. So when I show them my sample, and that's I create. being that I graph, it's easier for me to do that. But if you don't graph, maybe you may want to have a good relationship with your grapher so that you guys can come up with the best image for your customer. And that's what I actually do with my girl Gail and Disha. Like, they come to me and they say this and say that, and they ask their customer this and that, and I ask them questions, and then we come up with that boom, bam, yeah, everything is popping type of graph. So maybe you want to do that. I just make sure that I add a little bit, and then sometimes the customers be like, "How did you know I like this?" I'll be like, "Oh yeah," and then they always come back to you because they feel like they know me, even though you never met them a day in your life before. So yeah, I add, like a virtual $25 extra for that. But if you want to do like baby, so what I do is I start from the crib size toddler, which is like a baby toddler size, which is a little bit bigger than a crib, and then you do twin Afghan or lapghan, which is basically the same thing, full queen and king or plus. Yeah, I don't kind of sort of do the king or plus, and you barely will get me to do queen, but people do it, right? So we're going to start from the baby. The baby, you are going to automatically start with that 150. That's the crib size, right? Then we're going to do 175 for the baby toddler size. Then we're going to do twin Afghan, that's 250, and full queen is 300, and king plus is $375 plus. And this is all plain, right? This is not including images, not including pictures, letters, nothing. You may be changing like 2 colors, maybe that's it. Nothing more, nothing more, nothing. All right, so now let's start adding those embellishments, and that's basically the graph. Now some people just want a blanket with a name on it, right? So I have blankets that I've done with just names. I have blankets that I've done with just with a name and maybe one little image or polka dots or something like that. For the babies, we are just going to add like an extra $25. For anything more, we add extra $50, and maybe a king $75, depending on the size. We just add extra 25, 50, or $75, right? Now the multiple colors, we are going to add a little bit more, so that'll be $25 per color, per every 2 colors actually. So with the multiple colors, it could be like 2 colors, 4 colors, 6 colors. I just add $25 per every 2 colors. So that's something that you might want to do. That's up to you. And now letters, so it might be just an initial, 1 letter, extra $10. It might be an extra the first name, last name, and middle name, initial, so that's 3 letters, so that'll be $30. So depending on how many letters, it'll be $10. But then if they want a full name, which is like maybe Ava all the way up into Shawanda, I will do a whole $50 extra besides the actual base price, right? So after we have the full name there, do they want an image? Do they want just one little thing? So it might be just the full name, but they might just want a butterfly. So I will add an extra $50 for that image. So you see what I'm doing? Like we're just adding. And I never post my prices because I don't have to post my price. What I will do is give the price before the person pays. Now, I would say I don't like giving my prices because I change prices every now and then, and some people are still stuck on the past and still say, oh, your price was this amount and whatever, and they can still do that. But I always, before I do anything, I give them their invoice with everything in writing, letting them know how much it is and whatever. And then at the bottom in the clause, I put my prices can change at any time. At any given time, my prices can change, and that's up to them if they want to abide by that. They don't have to. 9 times out of 10, they will, because they're not paying at all until they, like what you're about to produce. And 9 times out of 10, they will like what you're producing, especially if it's like a creative stitching diva graph. I'm just saying. Yeah. So when you add that extra image, it'll be $50 to $75 depending on the image. And if it's a really, 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 really large, detailed image that is going to take a lot, which means it's probably going to be a bigger graph, that's going to be $75 plus. So that's basically how I run down all of my base pricing, embellishment, and all the way up into detailed images. But what if we want to, add on to like garments, like shirts, sweaters, cardigans, scarves. Now, scarves are my specialties, right? Like I love me some scarves, and I have a whole lot of scarf graphs. If you would like, check out creativestitchingdiva.com. Go down there in that description and click on it so you can find out all the scarves that you want. And if you don't see what you want, you ask, because I could create it, I could make it, I'll make everything. But anyway, what I love about my scarves is I use the stitch called Tunisian crochet, and Tunisian crochet is like almost like knit, so it looks so perfect. It looks beautiful, and the stitching, the images are so straight and clean. It's not jagged like half double crochet or single crochet. So we need to up our price, right? So for my Tunisian scarves, I charge about $100, and that is for like a basic scarf. If I add a little bit more to it, I will definitely charge a little bit more. But my scarves are generally about $100, and I think that's a pretty fair price for that Tunisian scarf. It takes me no time to complete, and if you want to learn, hit me up so that you can be a part of our soon to come class. The other thing might be a tote bag with an image, and I do have those graphs for tote bags and pillows, and those I might charge about $100 as well, between 80 and 100, depending on the image, depending on what it is, and if it's taking a lot of color changing, I would charge between 80 and 125. So that can help you along that type of thing. Also, like the cardigans, the tops, that is something that is a little bit more technical and different than a blanket, scarf, and pillow, because those are just one size, right? We could follow the size charts for that, but following the size chart for someone who's actually wearing an article of clothing, that's a little bit more intricate, and I don't tend to use a pattern. I always make my own stuff, and if I do use a pattern, I still get the measurements. So not only am I creating that, you're going to have to pay me for a consultation fee, and my consultation fees are at least $125, which is included into your garment. But in order for me to start with the measuring you, and to start with the getting everything laid out on what you want, the type of yarn I have to buy, for me, I take it a little bit more serious. I don't like to use acrylic yarn all the time for my garments, so it's something I take a little bit more serious. I don't use certain type of yarn. What I do also is I use probably the handmade yarn, because it's way better, especially for your skin. Cotton, it's a little bit different for me, so I can't really talk too much about clothing because I don't do a lot of it because of the technical things that I add to it. But I take my stuff a little serious, a lot serious, like a whole lot serious. So I don't do that. But when it comes down to layettes, which is the blankets added with maybe baby clothing. Now, baby clothes, yes, I would do that. I would do that. But I also add like a little Graphghan technique stuff to it. I would add like maybe, the hat, and maybe like the onesie, or a little skirt, dress, whatever, for the babies. I think I did like a snowsuit one time. So when I did the snowsuit, I added like an initial hair. So that's something I would add a little bit more to it. But the whole entire layout itself would 9 times out of 10 be at least 250 or more for a newborn baby. So just take into consideration your time, your materials. I am talking on the low end right now, and a lot of people may think that that's too much money, what I am talking about. But to be honest, the prices that I'm quoting to you is on the low end. It is not what I feel we really deserve. But that's where you have to use your skills, your expertise, what you feel is right for you to charge for a person. Now, what do I do? Do I take deposits? Do I take deposits? How do I do the payment? So how I go about doing my payment and stuff like that is basically, I will, for my patients, for people who come all the time to me, for my customers, for my loyal supporters, I just sometimes do it, and they don't even have to pay me until the end. But if I don't know you, you're going to pay me up front because I really don't know you. Now, depending on the person and situation, like I said, we don't use our heart for as being a business person. We have to use our head, our logic, right? And using our logic, we tend to not think that creating a handmade item will take a good amount of time. That's what, some people who do not crochet understand. So it may feel like you're not receiving anything. So what I have done was, I will ask them to put down at least the materials, the fee for the materials. My supporters, they will pay that fee. That way I can at least get the materials. 9 times out of 10, I already have it. But, $25, $30, $50. And then they could pay the balance upon delivery or pickup. I will deliver, but I will also add shipping and handling. Shipping, the amount that you have to pay for shipping, and handling, the amount that you have to pay for your packaging, which is your, ribbons, your, all your good stuff. You add that in there, y'all. Add that in there. How much I would charge? That's up to you. Add an extra $10 for your handling, or add an extra $5 for your handling, maybe $10 for your shipping. And it's more depending on how long it takes, if you're using regular versus, courier, whatever you call it. I want to also make it known that my loyal supporters, they know who you are, so they don't have a problem with paying either upfront or at a certain time. But it's the other ones who don't really know you that will test you. So when I mean by using your logic and not your heart, get that money up front, every last dime of it, all of it, or majority of it. And especially if it's customized. So if you take a deposit, you're going to take more because it's a personalized item. And you cannot do anything with a personalized item unless you find somebody with the same name, which I've done one time. The only difference was the name was Madison, and one person spelled it with a Y and the other one spelled it with an I. But the one who spelled it with the I took it with the Y. She took it and still gave it to her daughter. So, yeah. But I gave her a good price. So I had the deposit of the other one plus another payment, which was a good price. So I was able to sell it to her because, it was Y, not I. Yeah. So just keep that in mind, that you can resell it if that person do not pay or pick it up. I am going to tell you that I cannot stand someone that wants to complain about it. We don't have those. So if somebody wants to complain about the deposit, or somebody wants to complain about them paying up front without, having their merchandise, because again, they don't trust you sometimes either. Some people may say, oh, how do I know I'm going to get my item? Or how do I know, I'm paying you up front, I don't really know you. So that's when the deposit has to be done. And just, I tend to like feel my people. I tend to feel them. I have a habit of like listening to their conversation, seeing if they for real, seeing if they really are interested in purchasing from me. And I will definitely take their deposit, and it would be like 50%. It would be 50%. A little bit more maybe for a personalized item, but again, you could sell it if they don't come, because I had people who would pay the deposit and never picked up their stuff. Why? I have no idea. But I'm not chasing you. I call you, I will ask you, but I'm not chasing you because you still owe me money for finishing your work. But that's basically it. If you have any other questions regarding pricing, put it down there in the comments below. And do me a favor, if this helped you so much with your pricing, give me a thumbs up. And please, if you're not subscribed, subscribe. And if you're not a part of the Diva Squad, join the Diva Squad. I give you tips, tricks, benefits. You get discounts. You get free graphs, free classes. What more can you ask for? $1.99? Come on now. Right there next to the subscription button, it's the join button. So just click on join and pick a tier. It's 3 of them. And don't forget to check me out on Sundays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time for Chronicles of a Crocheted Diva podcast, where we talk about all your favorite things coming to do with Graphghan. Interact with us. It's going to be myself and the Graphghan crew. We be up here laughing, chilling, joking, and talking about how to make your life a little bit easier with the Graphghan community, because this is what I do from 2011. This is all I do. This is my niche. And make it your niche too. So have a good one, and I will talk to you later. Bye.